Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Today we are talking about self-awareness in romantic relationships, and so what it is you need to manifest the love you deserve. If you are single, we're going to talk about what you should be looking for in a partner to have the relationship that you want. If you are already in a relationship, we are going to be talking about kind of a check-in with yourself to make sure that your needs are being met. You know what your needs are, because I'm sure that they have changed since you've met your person. So whether you are single or in a relationship, you can still participate tonight. It's like a check-in type of situation. Let me turn on some more lights for you guys. Make sure you guys have pen and paper, because this one is going to be much more hands-on coaching style than our previous classes. So you're definitely going to need pen and paper. Membership people, I know I did not give you guys the handouts. My computer wasn't working yesterday and it's been a long day today, but I will make sure that you guys get the summary of the lesson, and then this is the summary. This is the actual exercises for you guys. I will make sure you guys get them. I apologize that they are not up before class today. If you guys are not in the membership community and you are interested in the additional materials, there's still time for you to join the membership community. The EQ for Love membership community, we meet weekly. So we have this weekly class. When you join the membership community, you have the opportunity to watch via Zoom, where we can have actual feedback, especially after the class. Let me move this out the way. And then we also have 2 group coaching sessions a month. So we had a group coaching session on Tuesday. During those sessions, you have the opportunity to bring whatever it is that you want to work through. And so, the ladies came on Tuesday, whatever, they wanted to talk about. We worked through those in a group coaching session on Tuesday. There is a private community, so if you are interested in joining a community, please feel free to do so after the class. If you have questions, let me know. Everybody have their pen and paper. This is more going to be like workshop based as opposed to classes where I do all of the talking. You guys are going to have to do a lot of writing and self-reflecting today. That is because I do not believe that there is a one-size-fits-all for relationships. What is healthy for you may be different than what is healthy for me in terms of relationship. And so it's going to be very important that you guys do the self-reflecting and answer the questions as honest as possible, because they're going to be different for everybody. Everybody, we ready? I'm going to jump in. I'll start with my usual introduction, my rules, and then we will get started. So welcome to EQ 101. This is week 7. So we are about halfway through this class for this semester. Today we are talking about self-awareness in romantic relationships. And so we're going to go over things you need to know to manifest the love that you deserve. So how do you know when a relationship is healthy for you? All right, like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. You coming to say hi early. He's coming to say hi to you guys. Say hi, Bim. I don't know what this filter is about. You say hi. Say hi to everybody. Okay, thanks. So lots of self-awareness. So today specifically, we're going to talk about what's on your current list that you're looking for. We're going to talk about where people go wrong with their list. We're going to talk about 3 things you need to know about yourself to have a healthy relationship. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a list of additional things that you should look for or ask for from your partner in your relationship. And then lastly, we are going to talk about non-negotiables versus compromising. So what are things that are probably hurdles that you can work through versus things that are deal breakers that you should walk away from. So those are the things that we're going to talk about today. Before we jump in, if you don't know if this is your first class, I am Erin. I am an attorney turned emotional intelligence coach. And so now I help women and their partners to improve their communication, conflict resolution, and their connection through the lens of emotional intelligence. I love what I do. I feel like this is my purpose in life at the moment. And so, the name of my business is EQ for Love. And so I work with both single women and women in relationships. I'm helping to identify behaviors that you may be engaging in that you don't realize is keeping you from the love and relationship that you say that you want. So this is actually a class that I teach over and over again. I've taught in various settings for matchmakers and their clients. So this is one of my classic classes or workshops. So I'm going to do it for you guys today, but you got to have pen and paper so that you can really dig in and get some answers that hopefully that you are looking for. You know the rules. I ask that you be respectful. This has to be a safe space. The things that we talk about are sensitive in nature, and I don't allow any type of disrespect or for anybody to feel unsafe or threatened. There are other platforms. If you want to engage in the whole gender wars and all of that, that's not this space over here. This is the space for productive conversations. And so for that to happen, I need you to be honest with yourself. I need you can share your experience, but don't project your experience on other people. And then lastly, no generalizing. So no all women this, all men that. In your experience, something might have happened, but that does not mean that all men, all women are the same. Last thing, I am not a therapist. I am a coach. Therapist looks backwards, trying to figure out how you got here. Coaching is forward looking and trying to figure out, okay, you're here. You want to get there. How do I help you get there? So that is my spiel. Are we ready to jump in? Let me know if you guys are ready. Ready. Okay, let's go. All right. So this is the first thing that I want you to do first before I jump in. I want you to write down what is on your current list. Or maybe if you've been in a relationship for a while, you might not even have a list. So what I want you to do is describe your perfect relationship. And then go back and describe your perfect partner. And I'll give you some time for that. We need some music. Okay, if you're not done, that's fine. We'll be revisiting this list. I just wanted you guys to get it down before we dive into the lesson. So self-awareness is going to be so important in your relationships, right? If you don't know yourself, you won't know what you need in a partner, right? You won't know what kind of support you need. You won't know who balances you out, like any of those things. So you have to understand yourself. You should also love yourself too, right? But so self-awareness is going to be so important so that you know what to ask for, right? You know what you need from your partner. You also know what you have to offer them, right? I think sometimes we get into this space where we may be able to rattle off the things that we want and need and we ask of our partner, but we got to be also honest about what it is that we can and cannot give our partner. And so if you realize that you cannot give your partner something that they need or that they want, you should be mature enough to say, yeah, no, I can't do that for you, right? I am very quick when I meet a new guy. What is it that you're looking forward to in your next relationship? And the minute they say somebody to spend every weekend with, that's not my life, right? Not that I wouldn't want to, but just with everything that I have going on, I don't have every weekend to spend with you. Right? So that's something that I'm honest about because I don't want to be in a one-sided relationship or be in a relationship where his needs are not being met. And I probably knew this from the beginning that I couldn't give him what he needs. Right? So we can't be selfish. We have to be mature enough to let people know when we cannot give them what they need. Before I rebranded my business, everything that I used to do, I used to call everything the perfect partner. So that's the name of my podcast. That's the name of my card game. Like if you look around at stuff, like everything that I've done has been called the perfect partner. And people always say, well, there's no such thing as perfect. And I disagree. If you look at the definition of perfect as an adjective, like in terms of describing your partner. So the definition of perfect is having all the desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as possible. So perfect means having all the desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as possible. And so I absolutely think that it is possible to have the perfect partner, right? So it's not that you are looking for somebody that is flawless, but it's about finding the person that is right for you, right? Having somebody that has all of the desirable qualities that you need in a partner, right? Not me, not what somebody else needs, you specifically. And I think it's absolutely possible to have that. I think there's kind of three places or three things that people do wrong when it comes to their list. I don't know that people put the right things on their list. Can I repeat the definition? Yes. Perfect means having all of the desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics, and as good as it can possibly be. All right. And so if it's possible to have the perfect partner, why don't people have it? And I think it's because people don't put the right things on their list. All right. So not knowing what to put on the list, I think people sometimes focus on the physical traits or short-term things and not really the qualities and characteristics that are going to give you the relationships that say that you want long-term. I think another common mistake people make when it comes to this list is not knowing what's most important. All right, so you can have a list, but some things are going to be preferences, some things are going to be non-negotiables. So I think people put the emphasis on the wrong things. And I think the third common mistake people make when it comes to this list is either not sticking to it or not updating it. I think people settle or they forget to update their list as they are continuing to date or experience new people. Right? You're supposed to update your list. Like there may be something that's on your list and you get it and you realize, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Maybe I don't really need this. Or you meet somebody and they show you something that was never on your list, but you enjoyed it that much that now that's a new standard. And that's okay. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are comparing every future people to somebody old. It means that this person introduced you to a new standard or a new thing, a new quality, a new characteristic that you realize, okay, I want every person to treat me like this. I want every person to do this for me. And it becomes part of your standard. So every relationship, every person that you experience, like it's not about, oh, he wasted my time because he's no longer interested. Sometimes it's about you learning just, okay, I like that or I didn't like that. And update your list. And that's totally okay. No, you didn't list a house sale. It's on Saturday. I'll be sending out my address tomorrow. How do you avoid seeking attention from someone who wants nothing to do with you? I think that's a you thing. You have to ask yourself, why do you still reach out to this person if you know they don't want anything to do with you? There is something about that person that makes you feel good or it feels a part of you. But you can answer that question as to why. And you just have to stop yourself. Like, I know that this is not what I should be doing. This is not going to lead to something that I want to do, but it's up to you. Okay, let's talk about 3 things you need to know about yourself to manifest the love that you deserve. This is another thing that you're going to have to write down. So the first thing is, why do you want to be in a relationship? Why do you want to be in a relationship? Write your answer down. Do you want to be in a relationship for companionship, emotional support, validation? Do you feel pressure to be married, either from society or your family? Do you have this idea that you're supposed to be in a relationship or married by a certain age? I used to think that. And let me tell you that I'm 10 years past the deadline I gave God. I even gave him an extension and I'm still past that deadline. He got some nerve, don't he? All right, so that's the first question. Why do you want to be in a relationship? I want to be in a relationship because... Write it down. He is. Don't laugh at me. Because why would he play in my face like this? I told him that I wanted to be married by 25. And then I was nice enough to give him an extra 5 years. And a guy I was dating dumped me 7 months before my 30th birthday. Yeah. So why is it that you want to be in a relationship? The second thing that you need to know about yourself, what makes you feel loved? Right, Coco? So rude. I say the same thing. The second question is, what makes you feel loved? All right, a lot of people have been talking about love languages. That's a big thing nowadays. But specifically, how does somebody do that? And what will make you feel loved? Is it being respected? Him rubbing on your butt? Him doing things for you? Him making life easier? Being protected? Are you talking about physical protection? Like physically, if something go down, he won't fight for you? Or what type of protection? Are you talking about feeling emotionally safe, financially safe? What type of protection you talking about? Do y'all know your love language? If you know your love language, put it in the chat. Feeling considered, sharing and enjoying our interests together. So all the protections, okay. Quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch. Okay. What about you guys over here? Kashmir, Cynthia, Nakia, Divine, Trakia, what's your love languages? Communication. Okay. Quality time and acts of service. What do you guys want to do? So you saying quality time, how much time do you need? Or is it not about the number of times you see him, about what you do in that time? Do you need to have date night 3 to 4 times a month? Being listened to, validating my feelings, and wanting to cuddle. Yep. Reassurance, communication. Okay. I like it. What else makes you guys feel loved? And just FYI, I know when people are getting to know each other, they oh, what's your love language? I actually think what makes you feel loved is a better question. If I say acts of service, it doesn't really give much. I just did. It was something new. Physical touch, love, affirmation, romance, communication. Okay. Words of affirmation. Now, with people that say words of affirmation, is it only in regards to one area of your life? Is it a specific area of your life? Tell me I look beautiful? Or is it maybe tell me you're proud of me? I need support at work? Or Is it like certain areas that you need to be affirmed in, or affirmed in a relationship altogether? Acts of service, quality time, weekly affirmation, support, communication. What kind of support, Rakia? Like, what does support look like? Affirm that you're not alone in the relationship. Okay. All areas. That makes sense. Feeling desired. Okay.
I guess kind of like a hype man. You got this, just like reminding me, like kind of that kind of thing.
Yep. Put that battery in your back. I understand. Okay. The third thing that you need to know about yourself in order to manifest the love that you deserve, and this one I'm going to give you some time to answer this question. If you were to wake up tomorrow and your life is ideal, meaning everything is exactly what you want it to be, what does it look like? Let's stop here for now. You guys can continue to think about it. You can always go back and update it. So earlier I asked you guys to write down your list and the things that you currently look for in a partner. Okay, so now I also just asked you 3 questions to help you manifest the love that you deserve. So this might be a point where you need to add some things to your list, right? So the first question I asked you was, why do you want to be in a relationship? So what did y'all write down, if you don't mind sharing? Why do you want to be in a relationship? What did y'all write down? Companionship. What does that look like for you? What does companionship look like? What does emotional support look like? All right, that's going to be different for everybody. Do you need somebody to just let you cry? Do you need somebody to acknowledge? Thank you for that, Whitney. Acknowledge how you are feeling. Do you need somebody to help you problem solve? Rub your butt when you say it. Rub your back when you say it. Thank you, Whitney. Right? Pure romance. What does that mean, Nay? Okay. So for whatever you wrote down as to why you want to be in a relationship, is that already on your list? If not, let me ask you this. For those of you, whatever you said, how does your partner give you those things? How does your partner give you companionship? How does your partner give you emotional support? What else did you guys say? How does your partner give you pure romance? Like, how do they do those things for you? And whenever you figure it out, add it to your list. The ability to build with somebody. How do you know if you can build with somebody? I am S. Clark. How do you know if you can build with somebody? Chanel, what does emotional support look like for you? Companionship. So for you to consider somebody, a lot of you guys said companionship. For you to consider somebody a companion, what does that mean? You guys have to be able to be friends, or like, what does it mean? All right, whatever it means, make sure those things are on your list. Okay. The second question I asked you is, what makes you feel loved? All right. Make sure those things are also on your list if they are not currently. Okay. Your partner gives you companionship by respecting you and enjoying each other's company. Okay. Companionship, a safe haven for your emotions, support financially to be loved correctly. Okay. So Kashmir, let me ask you this. Financial support. What does that look like? How much money does he need to make in order to support you financially, or whatever it is that you need? And so let me tell you this, guys. I know that there is, all right, all of this conversation around finances when you are dating, and money shouldn't matter, or people are. Now, I do agree that there are some people that ask or expect have unrealistic expectations for their partner. Like, oh, he got to make 6 figures, but they don't have a basis as to why, or they don't even have an idea or a concept of how much 6 figures really is. And so in those situations, yes, I agree. You should not have unrealistic expectations. However, finances do matter. And I do think that if the financial gap is too large, it is going to affect the relationship. All right. So don't be afraid to, at least in your mind, have a dollar amount, right? Because if you make 6 figures, but your partner makes $50,000 a year, right? That may cause an issue in the relationship, right? So still be realistic about it, right? Money does matter. It's not everything. And I'm not saying that a guy has to do like finances or whatever you guys agree to, but just don't let the conversation that's out here deter you from being realistic. Okay. So Kashmir, you said he doesn't have to make 6 figures. How much does he have to make? Right. And again, you don't have to necessarily share with me, but as long as you know, right, and you are honest about it, right? Because I know I talk to a lot of my clients are well over 600. Like I've been having some clients, and we have this conversation, and this is where it comes from, right? They're like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Girl, you make $600,000 a year. It does matter. It does. And don't feel bad about saying it. Like, it does matter. Like, for sure it matters. Right. And so I know I talk to a lot of women. They're like, well, I don't want to seem like that type. But if the financial gap is too big, for sure, it's going to matter. So for those of you said that you need, okay, so you say financial stability. We don't have to be concerned with having funds. Okay, so how much money would you consider stable, Cynthia, for the lifestyle that you want to live? Yes, money for sure matters. Truly listening, but always being to call me out on my ish. Okay, I like it. So based off of question number 2, in terms of what makes you feel loved, is there anything that you need to add to your list? Okay. And Kiara, do you know what on the same page means? Does that mean like y'all make similar money? You have similar ideas around financial goals or similar financial goals in terms of like investing, spending habits are the same or at least similar. Right. Again, you guys don't necessarily have to tell me as long as you guys are aware. Respect and admiration, okay? Best friends, trust each other, no hiding. I love that. And so then the third question that I asked you was, if you wake up tomorrow and everything was ideal, what does your life look like? Now, the second part to that question is, what do you need in a partner so you can have that lifestyle? Okay, you have to have the same financial goals and open about spending habits. I like it. Okay, so Noreen, you want your guy to be able to support all of you. Do you know how much that means he needs to make to support this lifestyle that you say that you want? Do you have a realistic number? Again, you don't have to tell me what the number is, just asking if you are aware. All right, and so for all of you that are saying financially stable or, you know, some type of financial support, finances, right? Make sure that you guys are aware of how much. You can't say you want to live in a mansion and you want him to pay for everything and he makes $40,000 a year, right? So make sure that you guys are aware. Add this stuff to your list. For you guys that have career goals, what do you need from your partner in order to reach those goals that you have? Is it just you just need support, right? Like you said, you can do it. I got your back. You the shit, girl. Boy, I got your back. All right, what does that look like? For me, I'll use me as an example. Because I feel like this is my purpose, right? Thank you. Obviously, this is my full time, right? I've met guys and they like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know how I like you, like being like in the limelight. I'm not even in the limelight. Like I don't do a lot. But for you to feel like that already, it's telling, right? Everybody can't go where you're going. Hey, Joy. Everybody can't go where you're going, right? So you have to be honest about where you are headed in the future, right? This is why I'm asking you what does your perfect life look like and what do you need in a partner to get there? Because everybody can't go. You got to be honest about it. Just like there might have been some friends that you've had to cut off or you realize can't go where you are headed. Same thing goes for a partner. Everybody don't have it. All right? And so we were talking about self-awareness. I think another thing that is important is you have to be aware of not only where you're going and the type of support you may need, but I think you should also be aware of your shortcomings. You just coming to terms with it. Like you gotta be aware of your shortcomings, right? And so right? I'll get to the next part in a second, but you have to know where you may fall short so that you know, okay, if I could find a partner that can do this for me, like me, my ADHD, I jump from thing to thing to thing to thing. I would come here, talk to y'all like I need something else to drink. I would go downstairs and say, oh, I didn't put Bentley food up, put his food up, never get nothing to drink, come back upstairs. Now, if I could find somebody that can help me with that, organizing is not my strong suit. I could tell you exactly where everything is. Everything got a place, but it's not going to be in the drawer labeled and all. Like, that's not my life. But if I could find a partner that could do those things, we great. Right? So you got to, again, self-awareness. You got to be honest about yourself. You got to know who you are, the good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. And don't hide it. Like, show who you are. Like, be you. Oh, okay, Elle. Okay, you perfect. I love that for you. I'm out. All right. Okay, so you guys updated your list based on those 3 questions? Yes. Okay. So let me give you a few other things that you should consider adding to your list. You don't have to put all of these on here. You're still updating. Yep. Go for it. Your shortcomings. You expect your kind heart out of people, out of your partner. And so we actually talked about this on Tuesday in our coaching session, that you cannot expect you from people. We just talked about that, right, y'all? Yeah, Cashmere said yes. We just talked about this on Tuesday. You can't expect you from people, because what that does is that means you had an expectation that somebody's going to behave the way that you would in that situation, and they're not going to. Nobody is you. Nobody has all of your experiences. Nobody has your genetic makeup. Nobody has your like emotional climate, like none of that. Nobody is ever going to be you. Even if you feel like it's something that a quote unquote normal person would do in that situation, you're setting yourself up for failure. You just have to accept the person that's in front of you. Be empathetic. Understand, like, dang. Even if it's fucked up, like, even if you know, like, damn, that's crazy, they did that to me. Don't say, I would have never. Well, they not you. Doesn't matter if you would have never or not. Leave it at a, dang, they did that to me, and accept it for what it is. This is what that person did. This is who they are. Don't compare it to what you would or would not have done in that situation. Hey, nephew, that is a very hard lesson, but I've learned that not having expectations makes life a lot easier, right? You're not as disappointed. Now, you could still have your feelings about how that person treated you and what they did. But now if you put yourself in that situation, or I would have never, now you're putting disappointment on top of whatever it is that they did. Yep, you recently learned. Yep, absolutely. Yes, everybody's normal is different. And so what happens is when you say, I would have never, you're putting yourself in that person's shoes. But you can't do that, because instead what you should do is understand where they are coming from. This is one of the things that I dislike about social media the most. People come projecting their experience. People are quick to say, why would you do that? Or you shouldn't have did that. You should have did this. Because you are looking at their situation, that 30 seconds, a minute and a half of their life, but you're applying your background, your experiences, your point of view to their 90 seconds. You don't know what that person did or how that person might just be trying to survive. You don't know. And so it's very hard to project. So next week, we're going to talk about empathy. And I'm going to get into this a lot more. But it's one of the things that I hate about social media, because everybody comes projecting their experience on other people. And that's just not fair. Like, until somebody comes out and say, well, I did this because of X, Y, and Z. But everybody doesn't have the opportunity to explain, or the capacity. They don't have to. Who are you to them? I'm jumping ahead. That's next week. But yes, don't expect you from people. Yes, empathy is going to be next week. It's actually one of the classes that I'm most looking forward to, because I think outside of self-awareness, I think empathy is the one thing that would make the world a better place, like, immediately. So yes, next week is going to be about empathy. What book did you mention? Let me go back up. The Let Them Theory. What's her name? What's her name? Is it Mel Robbins? Yeah, Mel Robbins. Yep. Okay. So here go a few other things that you should consider when you are trying to figure out, how do you know if this relationship is healthy for you? How do you know if this person is healthy for you? All right. Number one, does this person add value to your life? And vice versa. Do you add value to life? So everything that I share is going to be vice versa. Like, so I'm asking, how do they add value to your life? But also ask, do you add value to their life? The perfect partner understands their happiness is their responsibility, not yours. The perfect partner is aware of their areas of growth, or at least if they aren't. And if, let's say, they find out or discover a new area of growth, they're willing to work on it. The perfect partner speaks your love language, not their own, your love language. The perfect partner is flexible in terms of understanding things are going to change from time to time. The perfect partner is emotionally mature. Notice I did not say emotionally intelligent. I know that this is a new thing. Emotional intelligence is becoming more popular, and it is something that I hear on people's list a lot. I just don't know how realistic it is to expect somebody to already be emotionally intelligent. I think one of the surveys that I read, so one of the surveys inside, I told you guys about Emotional Intelligence 2.0. So they do a lot of research and surveys and all of that. So one of the surveys that they did, they said only about 39% of the population is emotionally intelligent. That's not even half. And so while I know that that is something that we desire, I've also found that people that think they are emotionally intelligent usually aren't as emotionally intelligent as they think they are. And so that's why I didn't put emotionally intelligent on the list. Emotionally mature, meaning they are at least willing to talk about what's going on. They may not have the best methods. They may not be the best communicator. They may not do a great job of identifying their emotions, right? But as long as there is a willingness, 39% are emotionally intelligent, right? But as long as there is a willingness. What was number 3? So let me finish going through them, then I'll go back. The perfect partner is supportive. The perfect partner, they have similar morals and values. Right? And so I tell people, it's not that you guys have to be exactly lined up in terms of morals and values, but you do need to be able to coexist. And so if you don't feel like you have to have the same religion, your religious belief just can't clash. Okay. The perfect partner. This one sounds simple, but you'd be surprised. The perfect partner desires the same type of relationship. Ask these questions up front. Don't wait till you 7 years in and you want to get married and you realize that they don't. And then lastly, the perfect partner, you can genuinely be friends with them. Okay, I'll read the list again. So the perfect partner adds value to your life, understands their happiness is their responsibility, is aware of their areas of growth, or at least if they learn about a new area of growth, they're willing to work on them. The perfect partner speaks your love language, is flexible and understand that things are going to change in a relationship. The perfect partner is emotionally mature, is supportive, whatever that support looks like. Many of you have mentioned support in response to the previous questions I asked you, as long as you know what that support looks like. The perfect partner shares the same morals and values. And even if they're not identical, you can at least coexist. The perfect partner desires the same type of relationship and is someone that you can genuinely be friends with. Now, is there anything on this list that I just read that maybe you have not really thought about or is not currently on your list? Or maybe you've overlooked some of these things in past relationships or even in your current relationship. You didn't think about any of these things, or that it was true, or that you didn't realize how important these things were. Your partner doesn't show any emotions. Have you inquired as to why? Did you ask what their experience was with emotions growing up? Do they feel unsafe to share their emotions? Do they not know how to identify their emotions? I would ask some questions to figure out why they don't share. Understand that their happiness is their response. You didn't think about that. Yeah, and so that's something that I personally had to learn. Right? When a guy stopped talking to me 7 months before my 30th birthday, that was one of the lessons that I had to take away from that, because up until that point, definitely was one of those people that my partner should make me happy. And then once he broke up with me, I'm like, so girl, you're just not going to be happy again until how long? That sounds crazy to me. And so that's when I started to learn that lesson. Yeah, wanting the same type of relationship, it sounds like a duh, but you'd be surprised how many people are together for years and don't realize that they don't want the same type of relationship or even the same type of family. Like one wants kids and one does not. That's something that cannot coexist, you know? He had to suppress emotions in his childhood. Yeah, so I would ask, like, is he open to trying therapy or trying to start exploring his emotions? Have you shared how that makes you feel that he won't open up to you? Your partner is not emotionally mature or willing. How can you leave while he's going through rough stuff? So I don't know that there is a straightforward answer for that. But if it's something that you cannot deal with, I think you're allowed to set a boundary. Say, this is too much for me. I can't deal with this. That's awesome. You did some therapy. He's feeling more open. I love that. He does therapy alone. He doesn't want to do it together. So TJ, that may mean there are some things that he needs to work through on his own, which I would respect. And let him do that and just let him know that you're there to support him. Growth is not linear. Because he's at least going to therapy. And again, you have the choice to either wait and be supportive or not. And that sounds harsh, but you have that choice not to. You don't have to deal with anybody in their baggage. So now let's talk about non-negotiables versus things you compromise on. How do you know when it's something that you can work through versus something that it's time for you to skedaddle and get out of there? Okay. Non-negotiables versus preferences. Your non-negotiables are things that affect the quality of your relationship. Preferences are things that, while they would be nice, wouldn't necessarily affect the quality of your relationship. Non-negotiables are just that you do not compromise on those things. Preferences, you can compromise on those things, okay? Your non-negotiables, your deal breakers are things that affect the quality of your relationship. Preferences are things just that you would prefer to have these things, but they do not affect the quality of your relationship. Use me as an example. For me, a non-negotiable is emotional support. I need you to validate my emotions. Even if you don't understand, I need you to be supportive, rub my back, rub my butt, all of those things. For me, a preference, and I know y'all about to get on me, but it's me. I don't care. I prefer shorter guys. I don't want nobody over 6 feet. Now, okay, so my non-negotiable, my deal breaker is emotional support. A preference is a guy that's shorter than 6 feet. If he's over 6 feet, it's not going to affect the quality of the relationship. If he doesn't give me the emotional support, that for sure is going to affect the quality of the relationship. That makes sense? So go back to this list that we've been working on today. All right, so we had a list and you guys been adding to it. I want you to go through your list and rate everything on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being it is absolutely important, 1 being it's not important that you have these things in your relationship and your partner. So go through your entire list and rate everything that you wrote down on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of importance. Don't keep playing. Okay. So everything that you wrote down on your list, including the things that you added. Thank you. And then you gotta download this song. I don't know why this one keeps playing. Yes, it will be recorded and put on YouTube later. You're welcome, CM. So go through everything that you wrote down on the list. My YouTube page is the same as my handle on here, Aaron F. Darton. It is linked in my bio. That's where all the replays are. Okay, so now that you have gone through, and this is just like a kind of to give you an idea of your non-negotiable versus your preferences. Anything that you have given a 8.5 or higher, so 8.5, 9, or a 10, these are your non-negotiables. These are the things that you do not compromise on. Anything that you gave an 8 or lower, preferences. These are things that you can compromise on, right? And so let's talk about things that like kind of happen in a relationship or when you're dating. How do you know when something is a hurdle versus a deal breaker? Right? Hurdles are things that with communication or with some support, you can work through these things. Deal breakers means it's time for you to walk away. Your deal breakers are going to be the things that like your non-negotiables, right? You're not getting emotionally supported anymore. Financial support is a 10 for you. Whatever those things are, a 9 or a 10, if it interferes with those things, that's probably going to be a good chance that, you need to start really reconsidering the relationship and whether or not it's healthy for you. All right. So you're going to ask yourself, can these issues be improved through communication, growth, or therapy? Right? Or is this something that goes to your core values, your non-negotiables, the things that you gave a 9 and a 10? Right? Those things are likely going to impact your long-term compatibility. That's when you start to think, is this relationship healthy for me? Did anybody learn something new about themselves today or something that they need to adjust on their list? All right, so today we've been talking about self-awareness in your romantic relationships and how do you know if your relationship is healthy or not, right? What's healthy is going to depend on you. Right, we talked about the perfect partner and having all of the desirable elements, qualities, characteristics, right? And it can only be based on you. I can't tell you what's healthy for you, right? Yes, there are certain things that everybody needs, right? Like effective communication or to feel supported, but I can't tell you what support looks like for you. You might need your guy to bring you flowers every week. I told y'all I'm much more into French fries. Give me French fries and gummy bears. Don't send me flowers. You learned some things. I love that. You're on the right track. I love to hear that. What questions do you guys have for me? Yes, everybody needs support in different ways. And so here's the thing, right? I think the best way to make sure your partner is getting what they need is to ask them, what do you need? And also for you to tell them, don't set them up for failure. Tell them what you need. It's the best way to make sure your needs are being met. All that they should know how to read your mind, and nobody is a mind reader. You got to tell them, hey, this is what I need you to do. Rub my back. Don't talk, just listen. Yep, you got it. What works for you is not going to work for somebody else. What makes somebody emotionally intelligent? What makes them emotionally mature? So for somebody to be emotionally intelligent, there's lots of signs. And so I also have a free assessment, EQ assessment on my website. The link should be in my bio. If not, you can go to my website, eqforlove.com. And there is a free emotional intelligence assessment, but just some signs, right? They are able to identify their emotions. They know how to manage their emotions, right? If they are angry, upset, or whatever quote unquote negative emotion they are feeling, they know how to manage them in a way that is not going to spill over into you or, the people around them, right? So they do a good job of that. They are empathetic, meaning they don't push their experience or their emotions on you, right? They are going to take the time to understand what it is that you are feeling and why, whether they agree with it or not. All right. I just had to have this conversation. All right. I told you I've been dating this new guy and I told you I'm moving out of my house. I'm moving back to Philly. And so I decided to do sell the stuff that I don't want to take with me. I was concerned about people coming to the house and somebody killing me. Right. And so I was texting him you think somebody going to unalive me? I don't know if I could say that word on here. You think somebody going to unalive me And he like sent back like the face palm. And I'm like, well, that was dismissive. He was like, you sound ridiculous. I said, yeah, that's a sure way for me to shut down and not tell you anything. I'm genuinely concerned about my safety as a person that lives. My dog is 7 pounds, 8 pounds. I live by myself. Yes, I am concerned about people coming to my house. Right? Just because he did not understand that concern, right? He's a man. We know that men don't have the same safety concerns, right? And so I had to explain to him, like, just because you don't understand my concern, like, don't dismiss it, right? And so after I explained it, of course, he, apologized or whatever. But so when you're emotionally intelligent, you understand it not to do that, right? You take time to be empathetic and understand things from other people's perspective. You don't project your experience on people. You know that you may need to take time to process what you're feeling before you go and have a conversation. When you're emotionally intelligent, you usually know how to communicate. You can communicate in a way that your partner can receive it. You don't jump to conclusions. Like, there's so many different signs that somebody is emotionally intelligent. But the basis of emotional intelligence is being able to understand and identify and manage your own emotions, as well as the emotions of your partner or whomever else you're talking to, right? And using all of this for good, right? Knowing when it's a good time to speak, right? If your partner just walked in the door from work and they have a stressful job, you recognize that that may not be the point to bring up things that you've been thinking about all day and ambush them. Okay. And so the difference for me with emotional maturity, they may not have all of the skills of emotional intelligence, but they are at least willing to talk, or they're willing to try. So I'll say that's what I call or consider emotionally mature. Yeah. Just practice, Nate. That's all. Any other questions? Like I said, next week we are going to talk about empathy, how to be more empathetic. Like I said, empathy is one of those things that I think will make the world a better place. You said cheating is a non-negotiable for you. Okay. He stands on business. We all want to be like that. You are welcome. Do you guys have any other questions before I go live on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? No other questions? Thank you. You are welcome. I don't think I have any homework for you this week. Just pay attention to your list and just think about, what's healthy for you. Dig deeper, give our questions that we went through some more thought. You are welcome. I'll see you guys next week when we are talking about empathy. Have a good night.